Hello, I am Ganeshan from Ameya Edge. Today, I want to show you a practical example of how Agentic AI can improve the enterprise IT operations. Let me start with the problem rather than the technology. When a production incident occurs, the actual resolution is sometimes straightforward. The difficult part is finding the root cause. A support engineer may need to move across databases, application, logs, infrastructure configuration, document, and sometimes several different teams too. The investigation may take hours to days. For complex incidents, it can take much longer, weeks or months. So, we asked a simple question. Can AI perform much of that investigation work the way an experienced support team would? That lead us to build what we call the Operational Accelerator. For the categories of incident, this framework is designed to investigate. The objective is simple. Reduce troubleshooting and root cause investigation from hours or days to minutes. And I want to emphasize something here. The value is not we built an AI application. The value is we reduce the amount of engineering effort required to understand an incident. The operational accelerator brings together evidence from different systems, reason across the evidence, and helps the engineer reach a diagnosis faster. Let me show you how that works. The architecture is easier to understand if you think about a normal support organization. At the center is a master or orchestrator agent. Think of this as the investigation manager. Around it are specialist agents. For example, a database specialist, an application specialist, an infrastructure specialist, and a knowledge specialist. When an incident arrives, the orchestrator first understands the problem. It determines what type of issue is this, which systems are relevant, which specialists are actually required. It does not activate every agent. It selects only the expertise needed for that incident. Each specialist then uses an approved tool to access the relevant system. And importantly, the specialists do not simply pull everything. They retrieve targeted evidence based on what they are investigating. Each specialist returns its findings. The orchestrator then correlates those findings and produces three things. What happened? Why did it happen? What should happen next? These three things, orchestrator will bring it. The support engineer remain in control of operational action. So I described the architecture very simple. One supervisor, multiple specialists, controlled tools, one coordinated diagnose. Now let's look at it working. For this demonstration, I'm running an sanitized application environment locally. The application itself is not the important part. What I want you to watch is the investigation pattern. The flow is ask, reason, investigate, correlate, and diagnose. The next question is usually, is this only useful for this particular application? My answer is no. The implementation is one example. The underlying Agentic AI investigation framework is reusable. What changes from one organization or domain to another are the specialist agents, the tools, the knowledge, and the access boundaries. For example, consider a data pipeline failure. A traditional investigation may involve the pipeline, data bricks, jobs, logs, source tables, schema changes, data quality conditions, and the upstream dependencies. The same framework could coordinate pipeline agent, Databricks agent, data quality agent, and a knowledge agent. So the architecture remains the same. Only the expertise and connected system change. That is why I describe this as same framework, different agent, different tools, different domains. Application support, data operation, cloud operation, database support, and other investigation are heavy workflows. So there are 4 business benefits I want to leave with you. First, faster investigation. Engineers spend less time searching across systems and more time resolving issues. Second, reduce dependency on individual experts. Many organizations have important operational knowledge concentrated in a small number of people. Runbooks, known issues, troubleshooting patterns, and product knowledge can be made available through the Agentic AI framework. The objective is not to replace experienced engineer, it is to scale their knowledge across the team. Third, on-demand AI. This type of system does not necessarily need to run continuously. An incident occurs, the investigation starts. The required agents perform the work. The investigation ends. So the business discussion should not only be what does the AI cost. A more useful question is how many engineering hours can we recover? Fourth, the reusable architecture. Once the orchestration framework exists, additional operational workflows can be introduced by changing the specialist, the knowledge, the tools, and the controls. So the largest message from this demonstration is not simply the operational accelerator itself. It is how we approach AI at Ameya Edge. We start with the operational problem. We identify where teams are spending significant time on repetitive investigation, decision making, or manual coordination. Then we determine whether traditional automation, generative AI, a single agent, or a multi agent architecture is the appropriate solution. Because AI should not be introduced simply because the technology exists. It should be introduced where it creates measurable business value. If your organization has an IT operation, application support, data, cloud, or engineering workflow, where experienced people spend hours repeatedly collecting and correlating information, this type of architecture may be worth exploring. At Ameya Edge, we can help you identify the right use case, design the architecture, build a focused proof of concept, and validate the business value before scaling it further. I am Ganesh from Ameya Edge. Thank you for watching.